Get Promoted in 60 Days is a program that's meant to build a fire under you, to catalyze you to take the steps, the actions, to change your thinking and your focus of attention, to change the way you show up and you act and you behave in the work environment that you're presently engaged in, and to change the way you do that such that you will be the obvious candidate, the recognized person, the go-to person for the next level of increased responsibility or scope or impact that the company or the work environment is looking to produce. We've structured this program as a set of 6 modules. And I want to just kind of walk you through briefly what those modules are and what it is that we're looking to introduce to you. So one of the key elements to getting promoted in 60 days is you believe and you act like you work for yourself. And what this means is there's 2 kinds of thinking that I talk about. There's employee-based thinking, where you're kind of expected to be told what to do and where to go and how to do it and what your work hours are and all of that stuff. And there is self-employed or business owner type thinking. When you work for yourself, you have to see what needs to be done and go do it. And you have to very carefully prioritize the important things and do the important things and make sure the critical things are done and make sure that the other things take their rightful place as second and third and fourth priority. So when you believe and you act like you work for yourself, even if you are an employee, even if you draw a recurring paycheck and you've been working in another organization for years, there's a difference in how you show up when you think and act and believe like you work for yourself and you rent your time to this company that you're currently employed with versus just an employee. So that's a module where we will explore that in detail and show you how to make those shifts in your own thoughts and behaviors. Number 2 is you know what your boss is thinking. I cannot tell you the number of people who have no clue what the key objectives are up one level from the level that they're operating at. Yet they hope to get promoted. They've been there for a long time. They've been doing good work for years and years and years. And yet if I said to them, what are your boss's 3 key objectives? They wouldn't know. They wouldn't know how to tell me the answer to that question. Familiarity and understanding and be able to prioritize the goals and the objectives at least somewhat at the next level of responsibility is key. And the way that is typified is you know what your boss is thinking. You know what the key success factors are, you know what the objectives are, and you know what has to get done for that level of responsibility for that person to be successful. Number 3, you produce massive results every day. You manage the details of your work. You produce excellent results. You're under control. You've all worked beside people who run around with their hair on fire. Something happens that the work doesn't get done. There's excuse after excuse. It's late. They're always in catch up. They're complaining about this. They're complaining about that. People that are in the habit of producing results on a daily basis are viewed as competent, are viewed as in control, and are viewed as leaders for the scope of responsibility they're currently operating at. And so sound results are a critical piece of getting promoted. There's a lot of folks who think that all you really need to do is schmooze the boss and go out drinking with them and all that. And I'll tell you that organizations that last require that the people that they promote are competent, capable, and have demonstrated results for their previous work assignments, results that they recognize and that others in the organization recognize. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the political elements of that. We'll talk about how that's recognized in that module. Number 4, one of the single biggest questions I get from my clients is teach my staff to think more strategically. So if you're going to be eligible for a promotion or a candidate for the next level up in responsibility in the company or work area that you're currently employed in, you need to think more strategically than the other people who are looking for that position or than the other people who are candidates for that position. And we'll tell you, and in this module, in Module 4, we'll talk to you about what does thinking strategically mean, how do you do it, how do you focus on the future in a useful way, and how do you bring other people along in that focus of the future and pick paths and courses of action that work and get us from where we are today to that compelling future. Number 5 is you manage your own mind and patterns of thought. You manage your internal state. I alluded to that before, that you're not one of those people who's making excuses for why something didn't happen. You're not complaining about things. The systems and processes are there. You're not complaining about other people. You manage your own mind and patterns of thought. You stay focused on the goals. You exhibit an optimism and a passion for your work. You're kind of a glass half full person. You see more of the possibilities and the ways to move forward than you see the issues and the huge problems that we can't get a handle on. You manage your state. You manage your state. It comes out in your language. You start to become viewed as a positive person. You start to be viewed as a can-do-it person. And even if you don't have all the answers, you know how to pull people together and get things to happen to take on those challenges at the larger scope. And that is a discipline of mind and thought and state management. And to be promotable, you have to do that in order to interact with a much broader and wider variety of people in positive and results-oriented ways. Lastly, Module 6 will talk about you inspire confidence in others. If you're going to be viewed as promotable, you have to be one of those folks who inspires and appreciates and recognizes what others do, and in such a way that's genuine, authentic. It catalyzes people to find their own power, their own creativity, to take on additional challenges in their own work roles and responsibilities, and you become a leader of others and ultimately a leader of leaders. And so the way you do that is by you inspire confidence in others. People who do not do that do not get very far up the corporate ladder or do not get very far in the leadership world, because they end up doing everything themselves. They end up being critical of everyone else, and sure, they're competent and they're capable of doing some things, but they can't take the next level of responsibility where they enable a broader set of actions to happen. So that's our 6 modules. Number 1, you believe and act like you work for yourself, and that takes us out of employee-based thinking into self-employed thinking. Number 2, you know what your boss is thinking, you know what the key objectives and success factors are, one scope of responsibility higher than you're currently operating at. Number 3 is you produce sound, massive, manageable, excellent results today. You're in control. You're constant. Number 4 is you think more strategically than the other people who would be candidates or eligible for that same job promotion. Number 5 is you manage your own mind and your patterns of thought, and you manage your internal state and you communicate out of that state. And number 6, you inspire confidence in others. So if you're up for the challenge and you're wanting to re-engineer yourself, if you want to reform yourself and take your level of skills and abilities and amplify your leadership to the next level, that will show up as you being the one who cannot not get promoted for the next level of responsibility that the company or the environment needs done. If you're ready for that, then come with us for this journey. We have six modules to take you through. We have a deadline on it, 60 days. 60 days from now, you should be seen in your environment by your colleagues, your bosses, your stakeholders, your partners. You should show up. You should be seen differently in your environment. You should think and act differently. And you should be the person who is viewed as the right person to take on that next level of challenge in the work environment. Come with us. We'll show you how it works. We'll challenge you to develop and grow yourself, and we'll have some fun along the way.